Good evening. I'm Mother Rodney, coming from the International Prayer Institute. It has been a while since I spoke to you guys, but the Spirit has been talking to me, and it's based on the story of Hannah and Samuel, and that whole story. Anyway, it's been telling me that Hannah, no way Hannah could have raised Samuel, because Samuel had a purpose on his life, that God has already called him to such a higher place, a higher state. And the mother or the father, the stepmother, could not raise him because they would have messed up everything. They would have spoiled him, rotten, or something else that God wouldn't want because of the office or the high office, that he had called him to occupy. In the same way, Moses' mother could not raise her. He had to be in Egypt and to be raised because of the leadership position and strategies and things that he needed to learn. He had to go into Egypt for that to happen. David, parents could not raise him. We see on one side of David where like he was rejected. No, God orchestrated all of that for for David to be out there with the sheep. God, he himself wanted to train David for the purpose that his life should take on. He had a giant to slay, and only God himself could have given him the strategy to do that kind of work. So it is with Samuel, the kind of work that he was supposed to perform for God. The parents would have completely messed up his life. He had to be given from a youth to God, for God to bring him up, for the purpose to be realized. So you see, anytime we get into the life of children or grandchildren that have been called out by God, we're going to mess up the purpose wherewith God has called them, to do or to be what God called them to be. We will completely mess it up. Right now, I see myself in that position, messing up the purpose of my grandchildren and my children's life, because I'm getting into their life, into what God would have them to be, and spoiling them, and spoiling them, not obeying the voice of God. It is a warning for anybody else who's in that kind of situation right now, to step aside and allow God to do his work in the life of your children and grandchildren. That's the only way their purpose can be realized, when God does it his way. You see, complete truth have to be in the office, Samuel's office, truth and justice and righteousness. But even God had him. God didn't let him go completely, because even when he had to choose the next king, God showed him that you're not on your own. You still depend on me. I have to release to you and show you, who the king should be, who you should anoint. So although the purpose is there for their life, God will pull them in so that they don't get heady and high-minded to say that they are doing this on their own. No, God still have them. So the quicker we realize that God's training is the best and we can't do it, that's the easiest and the quickest way their purpose will be realized, and we will have been in the will of God, not trying or finding ourselves going against the will of God. I have to do a lot of repenting. I have to be doing a lot of repenting and soul searching, because I have messed up purposes already. But the mercies of God is from everlasting to everlasting, and He's not going to leave us alone. When we realize our mistake and we repent, don't sit with it. Cry out to God, because He said He will hear you. I am in my crying out stage now, and I know that He's a merciful God and He will hear me. So I am just appealing to you, if you find yourself in a situation like Hannah or Moses' mother or David's mother and father, step aside and allow God to do His work in the life of your children and grandchildren. Because that purpose that God called them, whatever God called them to be, their purpose will be realized only through the hand of God on their lives. God bless you, children of God. God bless you. Mother Rodney here. I'm praying and working will of God out.